Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the weekly update for the week of April 20th. Hard to believe we're two-thirds of the way through April already. This month has, in some ways, seemed to blow by, and in other ways, seems to have gone on forever. But hope everybody enjoyed the weekend. It was kind of a nice springy weekend here in Alexandria. Saturday afternoon, Terry and I went for a hike up in Carla State Park, which is a few miles north of where we live, and want to just share a little bit of video that I shot up there, some sounds of spring. Those frogs in the slough up at Carla State Park were certainly very noisy. It was amazing how much racket came from just those frogs. I told you last week that we were waiting to hear on our application for the SBA PPP, Payroll Protection Plan loan. And after I did the video last week on Monday morning, I had a call from the bank that we had been approved, and then waited a few days and kept hearing news that the PPP program was running out of money, and we hadn't heard anything further. Finally, on Thursday, we did see the funds deposited into our bank account, and so that really gives us a good cushion in order to avoid any layoffs. One of the provisions with the PPP plan is that we have to try to maintain employee levels in order to receive forgiveness of the loan. And so our plan going forward is to make sure we have at least most of our staff on board throughout the months of May and June. Actually, I guess the measuring period is for an 8-week period from the time that the loan is received. So it will run at least through the middle of June, which gives us a chance to work on developing a plan to make sure we can make it through next year. I know that everybody was really disheartened this week when we heard about the closure of the Alaska lodges by Princess and the cancellation of many cruises. We lost a number of groups on that, and the summer Alaska business is something that helps carry us through the months that are less busy than January, February, and March, and so not only you, but I was very dismayed to receive that news, and I think I just want to share that we're really all in the same boat in terms of feelings, that this was really a big blow to our business. And while I try to be upbeat and positive in these videos with you each week, there are certainly some dark sides, and I want you to understand that you're not the only person that feels a bit of anxiety or sadness when some of these things happen. It's something that affects me as well. The Alaska cancellations, along with continued travel restrictions within Europe, certainly means that travel to Europe is going to be very slow and probably will not come back. We'll have to see what develops for the fall, and wait and see if the river cruise business comes back or is allowed to continue in the fall months. Number of you know that Jeff Gow, who is the president of Marco, our internet host, and also supplier of phone systems and copiers for us, is a friend of mine, and he writes a weekly blog. And really, in his blog this week, he really told his employees that this is going to be hard, and I really want to let you know that as well, that this is going to be a bit of a struggle, and you know, we're gonna have to try to work through this together. A number of you have had some questions about, you know, what our plan is going forward, and I have to tell you that you're not alone. I have the same questions going forward, and that's really what we're going to be working on for the next 6 to 8 weeks, is to develop a plan going forward. You know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't have all the answers, but together with Lee and our management team and all of you, I'm confident that we will figure out a way to get through this. Here is the lakes area where Terry and I live in Alexandria, Minnesota. Here we are looking out at Lake Lahamadou, and that strip of road that I showed you from the air. We go across the road to Lake Carlos, where Terry and I live. You see there's still a little bit of ice left on about a third of the lake. And then here I wanted to just show you my old car. Some of you have seen this before, but this is my 1987 Mercedes 20 SEL. It has a little special story that I want to share with you today. You know, I take it out on April 15th, about tax time, and now listen. Oh, just the solid thunk of that door is just like a bank vault. Here, this old car has 188,000 miles on it, and it still keeps running great. And I want to share a little bit of my story about Big Ben's with you. Well, we'll see if I can control my selfie stick here and do a little video here within the car. Sometimes I'll go out for a drive and find a spot to park and just sit in the back seat, maybe listen to some music and just clear my head a little bit. Had a friend who used to love this car. We'd go out for dinner, and she'd say when she'd sit in the back seat, she'd feel like she was Princess Diana because it was big and luxurious, and it's just kind of fun to get it out and sit in it. But this car has a very special meaning to me, and I'll never sell it because I've owned this car now for almost 20 years. I bought it down in Atlanta. I was there visiting. Laura was playing in a volleyball tournament in Atlanta, and I spotted this car and bought it and drove it all the way back to Minnesota. And I got back to Minnesota, and I got back on September 10th, 2001, and got to bed late at night and woke up the next morning, and my daughter Joanna was in New York City, and she called and said, "Dad, you got to turn on the TV." And so this car got back to Minnesota really and represents what we went through after 9/11. And to me, it represents the fact that we got through 9/11, we got through the economic crisis of 2008 and 2009, and I can get through anything if I got through those. So this car has a special meaning, and like I say, it's never going to be sold. And you know, just like the crisis that we faced in 2001, you know, our industry was turned upside down. The airlines stopped paying commissions on airline tickets, and airline tickets at the time were about 85% of what we sold, and yet we've made it. You know, people said in 2001, well, who's going to pay fees to book an airline ticket? And look where we are today. You know, we not only collect fees on airline tickets, but we collect fees on tours and cruises and for other services that we provide. And customers have come to rely on us and expect us to be charging fees. And you know, the industry turned upside down in 2001, and it's going to turn upside down here in 2020 as well. But if we're flexible and nimble, we will survive. You know, nature is all about survival of the fittest, and in order to survive, you have to be nimble, rethink things, and be able to transform yourself. Terry gave me the analogy the other day of a caterpillar who spins a cocoon, its body dissolves, and it comes out as a butterfly. And that can be us as well. We can utilize this event in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic, and this can be our transformational event. But I can't do it without you. I need you, everybody thinking about new ideas. How can we market better? How can we increase our market share? What are some new revenue streams or new products that we can sell? And one advantage is it's not just me thinking about these things, it's 80 of us. And so with 80 of us thinking about it, really the sky's the limit. And I really look at this event and think that, you know what, Bursch Travel is going to come out of this. We might be a completely different company, but we're going to come out of it, and we're going to come out of it better and more profitable. It might take us a while to get there, but with all of you working together, I know that we can. So thanks for going for a ride with me. I know that the road is going to be bumpy for the next few months, but together I think we can enjoy the ride and especially enjoy the fruits of our labors. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. One final glimpse at Big Ben's, the car that will never die. Just like Bursch Travel, we'll make it through all of our challenges.